All right. Good morning, good evening. Thank you for everybody that's joining us. Today's presentation is in the chat. You can download it to follow along or reference it later. It'll also be in the description after we're done when this gets posted on YouTube. So once it's on the Micro Focus support and training site, you'll be able to download today's presentation as well. So today what is ZENcast Live? We are the Zenworx community, and we do anything Zenworx here. If you're interested, if you don't know what it is, if you want to try and fire it up, or if you have it in process in your environment and you have questions, it doesn't have to be on topic. We could do whatever. We could sidebar things. So just want to let you know that this is for the community. We meet the first and third Tuesday at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, North America. And the recordings can be found at the support and training YouTube site. You will find the IM&G endpoint management along with a lot of the other Micro Focus products. Okay, so be aware that that's there and functional for you. You can find training, you can find chats, you can find all sorts of things. So anyway, that's where it'll be posted under the ZENcast. And this one, since it's multi-platform, it won't be under all of these. It'll just be under the ZENcast, and you'll be able to find the recording and the presentation in the descriptions. A little bit of house cleaning. Go ahead and subscribe to the notifications, and you will get notifications when we go live. Also, log into YouTube chat so that we can chat and ask questions, answer questions. Make sure you give comments and likes if you're watching this recording so that we can see if we're on the right step, right direction for what you're looking for in this particular community. You can put an @ sign next to the direct message to direct message somebody themselves, and then viewing, set it to audio or auto 720p 60, and that's by the gear. That way you'll be able to get the most out of it. And just in case we get connected, or you might want to set autoplay on or off so it doesn't advance to something else if it gets a glitch. Posted video descriptions, links to the downloads and references that are in this particular presentation will be there after we post. Some of the schedules. So today we're doing the Appliance Console navigation. And then next week we will be talking about Zocker with the developer. Okay, what is it? What's its function? Why do we use it? The architecture obviously changed in 2020 Update 2. What was that all about? And we'll get all the answers next week on that particular topic. So stay tuned for that. That'll be great. Do remember the first Tuesday in September, I will be on holiday. So I am traveling to my son's wedding. So I will not be able to host anything. And it's over in Europe. So yes, he did this about a year and a half ago. So he's getting married. So exciting times. Anyway, some of the future customer requests: USB management and protection, ZCM protection using encryption, and others. I didn't list them all here, but you can see what's coming live by going to our schedule out in the community. And you can see July, August. We're currently navigating the Zenworx Appliance. And then we also have every topic we've had on ZENcast listed here, from the most recent all the way down. But you can, if you're looking for something like ZSD, you'd be able to just search on ZSD and find all of those. Or if you're looking for database, you can do your browser search and see what you need. If you're looking to see something else, something in this future customer list, please email zen@microfocus.com. I'll get it and we'll add that to our repertoire. A couple of things to check out. Let's cover the community first. We got the ZSD lookbook. Really good, just released 2 weeks ago. So if you're interested in Zenworx Service Desk or what it's about or how to upgrade, this has videos, flyers, a comparison chart for the different versions as they went from 8.x on up, how to find your Service Desk version. There's instructions there. For instance, if we go there, you could see how and why to upgrade, Zenworx Service Desk, but here you can see actually how to find your version, right? But this lookbook is really, really advantageous, and guess what? ZCM just released theirs this week, okay? With flyers, comparison charts for the version comparisons, how to upgrade from 2017, how to upgrade from 2020. This is exciting stuff. So I'm really excited to announce that this is a new page that we have. We've been working hard on this, and we got it out for you guys to see. If you want to see what's your Micro Focus version, you can select the dude here and then go to your particular, if you go into Zenworx Suite, you can then see things about the Zenworx Suite, why and how to upgrade, and it takes you on a little journey and an actual tutorial and stuff, okay? So these are really exciting resources for you. Be sure to look into these, and I think you'll get a lot out of them. It'll be great. And as we've talked about, we do have the team and collaboration community. You'll find these in the blog. So here's the one, and here's the other. So these links are readily available in the community for your use and access. Okay. There are a couple new videos and info that are out there. I listed them here: Zenworx Appliance, Veeam Backup, ZSD Delegate Role, Google Major Disruptive Changes, and things like that. So there's new TIDs and documentation and info that are listed. I just take the most recent and just start putting them on the top, and so that you guys have the most recent stuff. Now here's some TIDs that are out there. We do have the ZCM imaging update. July 2022 is available. All right. And if you go to this link, you'll be able to see, and you can download it on SLD as well. But you can see we have it out here for your use. So that's the latest thing. I know we've been waiting a long time for the imaging update. It is here, and you can go there to get that. You also see it in SLD. Can't log in to ZCC, just different TIDs that are brand new that or updated recently for different issues or questions that customer may have had. Okay, so I just take the latest and start scrolling them in here so that you have access to the latest stuff. If they interest you, that's fantastic. Hopefully it'll be a quick resource for you. Another thing is ZSD 831 public beta will be ending this week. And if you're interested in any of the betas, send an email to zen@microfocus.com. We'd be happy to get you on board with those so that you can join us. And the nice thing about the betas, I did it when I was a customer, because you got inside information of what's upcoming. You're able to talk directly with the developers and the PMs and be able to make an impact. One, for your environment, but also for the community's environment. There are other live casts out there. One is for Filer, Groupwise Enterprise Messaging, OAS and iPrint, and Robin Redgrave does these depending on the Thursday, and he does a great job with these. So know that you have other resources for other products doing the same thing we're doing for ZENcast. Also, there's a Keppinger Cole analyst report on UEM, and we thank you for contributing to that. And you can then see how we've evolved, and if you need to understand how we compare with other competitors, that's one good resource there. Events and recordings, TTP transfer, which is Technology Transfer Partners. They just finished up their Micro Focus Technical Insights series. You can go to those publicly to see those events or those presentations, and it's across the board. It's not just it's not just Zenworx stuff, but if you went to you could see how-tos, how customers are presenting certain things, taking care of things in their environment. Okay. Yeah, agenda. I don't know I think it's closed. So yeah, it's already done. So, but you can get there by logging in. If you do, I think you're registered. It'll take you on in. But you can go to the technical insights how people are using different functions to get email around. And it may not be even involving a Micro Focus product. So it's really a community-based platform. So TTP has been around quite a while, and it's a great resource. We thank Peter for that. Let's talk about a couple of versions. ZCM 2020 Update 2 is out. There is a FTF out for 998. Obviously, if you just brought your machines to Update 2, do 998. And then there's an FTF update for 1006, and these are the cumulative updates. All right, so once you get 998 in place, you can go directly to 1006 and get the last 6 months of updates. Okay, so it's real important to keep all the security patches and everything up, and this is one quick way to do that. We also did a ZENcast a little while ago about doing the FTFs and how to install them. So you can reference that or check the documentation. Imaging update July 2022 is out. There's a what's new document for update 2, 7025.142. There's an upgrade cookbook if you're going from 2017 or 2020 update 0 or update 1. Those types are available to you as well in these links. Sorry, it keeps switching. ZRS is at 7.8. Typically, ZRS is updated when Zenworx is updated. So when update 3 comes out, there'll probably be another ZRS update shortly thereafter. And then ZSD 8.3 is out. There's a README and a cookbook. However, 8.3.1 should be out beginning of September. All right. Late August, beginning September, we have it targeted for the 6th, right after the holidays, the U.S. holidays. MFDC 22.4 is out, and we're working on getting 22.6 soon for you. Okay. Some of the futures, update 3 is coming. Again, we constantly work on the imaging driver Tuxera update. Update 3, just a few of the enhancements. ZSD 8.3.1, a few of the enhancements. MFDC 22.6, 22.7 is coming. So you can see some of the futures. If you're looking for a particular thing, post on the community. The Ideas Exchange portal is fantastic for that. If you're able to post on the Ideas Exchange portal, you can get votes, and it tells us how the community is responding to your particular idea. And so we can then judge the urgency of doing that. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to home. Let's go to service desk, Ideas Exchange. So we have some in here. You could see different things about the product, and we have votes. We got 2 votes here, 2 votes, 3 votes. So go out here occasionally and check, because what you're hoping that it has may be either voted for or accepted and going to be in the next release. So be sure to check that occasionally. Let's recap last week a little bit. We did some ZCM zone permissions and schedulings. We talked a little bit about bundles, device and users, remote management, and then some other miscellaneous stuff and integration with ZSD and I think ZRS. The different types of permissions, whether they're inherited, at the folder, at the object level, at the group level, and what roles can help control that. And remember, it's closest to the object wins, right? So it may be inherited from the folder level, but if the object itself has different rights, it'll take those. Okay? And then we talked a little bit about schedules and scripting. All right? Being able to build a zone with scripts or doing Z-man commands on the command line. Today, however, we're going to talk a little bit about the appliance, the dreaded appliance. I remember as a customer, we got the appliance, and I was not familiar with Linux at all. I'm just a GUI guy. You show me, I can get it, right? You show me visually, and I just like the GUI side of things. But with the job, I obviously had to turn to the appliance and understand it a little bit better, and then I got this position, and I hope to clear some of those things up and relieve some of the fear that's out there regarding appliances. They've really done a great job. They're definitely seasoned now, and well on their way as far as giving you most of the tools that you need, right? Some of the products that use the appliances are ZCM, ZSD, ZRS, Filer, iPrint, and there's others, right? But we're going to talk a little bit about the appliance itself and not so much about the products. However, you can manage the products in them, and we'll discuss those, but mostly about the appliance today. All right. Why use an appliance? Physical costs. Okay. There's some physical costs attached to that. The OS purchase, hardware needed for that, licenses associated with both the software and any of the different software products that are on that particular server. Maintenance costs, OS management, right, and patches. Third-party related patches and upkeep, anti-malware or antivirus or whatever, right? There's those maintenance costs that you have, and not just the license costs, but the management costs of it, right? You have actually going in and having to maintain this, whatever your schedule is, monthly, quarterly, whatever. But having an appliance can help cut those down tremendously. And now, like I said, since these are streamlined, it's a little bit easier, but we're going to cover a few of the pros and cons. Of course, cons Linux based. I didn't care for it. It's non-graphical, right? There's case sensitivity. And then just the unknown, right? It's a new, oh gosh, I got to relearn something else, right? Valerie, thanks for letting us know that it was actually out there yesterday. You found it. The imaging driver update. Thanks for chatting that out. I appreciate that. And but some of the pros are the Appliance Console. Okay, they try and give you a little bit of graphical interface there. Processes are streamlined. So think about not just if you have an OS based, you have all the other underlying services that are maintained or running. Whereas on an appliance, they cut those out if it's not necessary for this appliance, for this product to run. Okay, so the processes are streamlined. The OS upgrades are simplified tremendously, either through a channel and it's done, or side by side, prop up another one, transfer volumes over, and you're up and running. So they've really, again, they've streamlined the processes even for the upgrades. And then product upgrades, OS upgrades and product upgrades, okay? If you're going from an appliance that has 12 SP5/12 SP5 and you go into 15, you just set them up side by side. If there's security updates for that, you just do the online update channel and security upgrades will come down and install. If it's an actual product, and sometimes that product doesn't need, it doesn't have an OS change or doesn't have a database change, you can then do an online update through the channel much quicker. But if there's like a database change or an OS change, like I mentioned, you do a side by side and up you go. There's different hypervisors that are used in this, right? There's VMware, Hyper-V, the Citrix. So there's different hypervisors in XEN. So be aware that, at least prop one up. You can, if you have a Zenworx zone, prop up an appliance just so you can get a look and feel of it. They're much more mobile and easier, and restore. Restore is simplified, right? Because you have it on a VM. If you lose hardware, you don't have to worry about losing hardware. You don't have to worry about OS corruption or those types of things. Okay, restoring is simplified. We're going to talk a little bit about each one of these that I have loaded in my lab. As far as, let me downsize this a little bit. So we're going to go through ZCM, and I think we have the ZCM appliance here. Yep, this is Zenworx. And then remember, when you install appliance, you have a root and then a secondary admin account. In this case it's Zen admin, all right, or root. And let me retry that. Okay, there we go. Let's try it again. All right, and most of these things are standard, right? The appliance configuration you'll see across Filer, ZSD, ZRS, the appliance configuration on top is pretty much the same. And then Zenworx on the bottom in this case, or there will be Service Desk on the bottom. Then this is managing some of the actual product down here. Okay, so let's you have things like the network you can adjust. So as you know, you can go in, well, and you may not know, you can go into YAST to configure some of these things, right? And YAST is yet another system something. I forget what it stands for exactly. But YAST will actually have the configuration of the OS. And if we went to, for instance, we'll log in. I think part of it is remembering all the commands, right? So here's online updates. This is your software, your system. You have your date there, your network settings, things like that, right? But if you go to, instead of going to YAST, not that one. Where are we? We are going to, oh, let me minimize this. That's my problem. Okay. This one here. So here's your network, your time, your storage, system services, firewall, administrative passwords. Field patch, which is pretty much not used anymore. They have the new FTFs that they're doing, the cumulative FTFs. Online update, notice the exclamation point. That means there are online updates available for this particular appliance. And again, this is the appliance itself, the OS and the product that's on it itself, not the zone if you're talking Zenworx configuration management. You also have ganglia monitoring and ganglia configuration. Yeah, and then for the Zenworx side, you can get to the control center right here. Just pop that and it'll go over to ZCC for you, right? You have logs, log configuration. Again, very flexible for you. Some of the services, one of the most common things I go to is system services, because you may need to turn SSH on. I do show it's running, but you could do your options. You could set it to automatic, or you can stop, right? Or you can start. See how it stopped. Refresh list, highlight, stop, start. That way you can do some WinSCP or transfer files or whatever. System services is a very common one. Firewall gives you what is open and closed for the most part. All right. Administrative passwords, if you want to change your Zen admin, remember we logged in as Zen admin. You can see that up here at the top. If you want to change that, you can. And whether or not root has SSH. Okay. Online updates is another one that's pretty common. So just by being registered to, so if I did register, you can see I'm registered to Zenworx channel for 2020 update 2. Okay. And you can see here are the security patches. And I purposely haven't done these yet. You could also see product update in May. Okay. And that's in the update channel, which is something you might want to take a look at and be sure to keep updated, right? Now, this isn't the FTF cumulative updates that I know of. I believe this is just the product update for the SLES 12 part of it. But if you wanted to update, you could hit update now. If you want to schedule, you can schedule those so that it's there. And again, refresh will take you where you need to go. And then the installed updates, you can see the past installed updates. Okay. So it's a good channel, it just feeds right into that channel. Every time you do an upgrade, you want to then register to that channel. Make sure you're in the right channel. Sometimes if you do a side-by-side, obviously the side-by-side is a new appliance. Even though it has the persona of the older one, you still need to re-register into the channel so that you can get those updates. Okay, just as an FYI. Some of the ganglia monitoring. Let's see if I have this working. I don't. Don't have it configured. Enable monitoring. I thought it was configured when I had this. Let's go home. Yeah, I got something in my routing. We'll try it on a different machine. So those are all the, in this case, is Zenworx Appliance, Zenworx Configuration Manager, Appliance OS stuff you can do. And then you have the Zenworx configuration here, which gives you the zone, what's the zone name, what version the zone is on, right? And then what type of database you're running, what port it's running on. You can see the certificate authority is here. You can see the expiration. Remember, there's two databases. Actually, there's a few. There's Vertica also, if you have that enabled. Zenworx database, the audit database, right? And the ports they're running on and their instance name. Okay. And then your configuration for your mounts, for your hard drive, your appliance itself. Okay. You can see I have VA storage here. It's 37% used. So it's kind of a nice little dashboard as far as seeing what's going on this particular machine, what the different details are about the product. And then of course you can open Zenworx Control Center. But don't forget about some basic settings. If your support may ask you to increase the memory heap or different things, you don't have to go through all the file into the console and do command line. You can actually make some of those changes here. So of course it has a reset values to default afterwards. If you have to change them and you want to reset them back because you're done testing that particular issue, you could do so. All right. And then advanced. So this is where you get into the details of the files themselves, and you can actually go into the files and edit and so forth. See the edit mode, reload, set to default. The nice thing I really like about the console is it takes you directly to that location. You don't have to remember, oh, it's a Zen server conf. Oh, okay. It's what's the path? Well, the path is right here. Okay. It takes you directly there. So being able to do that, it saves me a world of hurt, right? All right. And then, of course, you can restart. Sometimes you have to restart services, right? When you do that. And there are no services pending for restart, so we can hit OK. If you make changes, because you'll want to restart if you make changes, obviously. And support will obviously tell you that. Let's go back to home. This is the Terminal Explorer. So one thing to note, I'm going to go ahead and go back home. I'm going to go over to System Services, turn SSH off, right? Because typically it's off. If you go into Terminal or File Explorer, you'll see that it won't start Terminal now, right? Because it needs SSH to actually function, all right? So you can then go back, if you get that where it's not starting terminal, just go into System Services and Action Start, close, go back over here, and you can see terminals now started. Now you can run whatever commands that you're looking for right from here. RPM, well, I don't have any RPMs to run, but we have some examples coming up. All right. And then you could actually get to the actual file structure, right? So if you do var opt Novell. Actually, it's microfocus now, right? Logs. Okay. OS. So I went to the OS logs. Oh, maybe I needed to go to the Zenworx logs. Well, the nice thing, the terminal does a great job of getting you around. It's something we're familiar with, you know, a file explorer like other products have. But the nice thing about if you're looking for logs is by going here, you don't have to know what the structure is, because if I go to OS, it automatically takes me there. Okay. So you can get to the logs much quicker, less thinking about what the path is and more about troubleshooting and getting the job done. Okay. And that's the OS, and of course the Zenworx logs. Here's your loader messages. Okay. You could do some things like how many lines to load and to pause and so forth. So if you're tracking something going on in your particular zone, you could do so. And this is very familiar with all the products, as you'll see as we go through. So that's logs, and then log configuration. Remember your settings: finest, severe, warning, info, those types of things. We got this set to debug. Okay. If you wanted to set something in debug mode or something, you can set them here. And then of course you have your advanced by going directly into the different logs. Okay. So that should be helpful there. And again, restart services should you have changed something. Another thing you can do is restart services here. When you change something in the other areas, it'll just restart those services that need to be restarted. Here is a generic restart service, so it lists all the services I have running and what the status of them are. And I can obviously check stop, start, restart on any one of these, and it will go ahead and restart those services. Okay. Now, one thing to remember is this particular console 9443 is different than your ZCM console or ZCC console. So when you restart services over here, you don't restart this web service. You're restarting this things that affect this web service. Okay. They have two different web services running. All right. So you won't lose this login as you're managing this from here, but you may lose it at the ZCC. That makes sense? All right. Okay, online updates. Again, if we did an online update, because we're going to be backing out of this real quick, I'll go ahead and do that. And we'll do an update now. Again, we have this one down here. We'll do an update now. And it's going to tell us service interruption may occur for this primary server, right? And you must reboot the appliance. So we're going to hit OK, and it's just going to take off, start downloading and installing. Okay. So we covered a few things. There is one thing that I didn't mention was the reboot and shutdown. We'll get to that on another appliance just so that we can watch it there. If we go to Service Desk, for instance, we'll see similar things. Nope. So if we go to ZSD, similar, right? Ganglia, configuration, network time. This one has digital certificates in it. All right, so that you can have, because remember that ZSD is a single appliance system, whereas ZCM could it be multiple primaries. So you do a little more control here as far as the device itself, because it is a full system. So here's the different certificates that you could see here. Obviously, you could see view info, and you can edit things here, update, change, cert, and so forth. So we do have one additional here, and we don't have that field patch. Okay, so they don't leverage field patch in Service Desk. Now, one thing about Service Desk is, notice I logged in as root, and I have the network time, storage and firewall. If I log out and log in with the service desk admin, I don't have those. Okay, and that's by design. So you can give the service desk admin some the tools to go here to manage some of the system services. Maybe they're going to do a patch, so they need to turn on SSH, which is running. I have it automatic on this one, and those types of things. So be aware that you will have a slightly different presentation depending on who you're logged into. I'm going to go ahead and log in as root so we can see them all. There we are. Okay, and again, online update. We can see I don't have any patches to do, but I can see that we have done patches in the past. Again, it also has a service desk release. Okay, 830. Here's our register. We're registered to the 8.3 channel. Okay. Here's a reboot and shutdown. So you are able to reboot and shut down from here. So if you do need to do a full cycle, you can. But again, we went to ganglia monitoring. I think this was the one that was working. It is. So you could see different things about the ganglia or the monitoring of the system. And you could take it even steps further. Oh, what happened this last, the past day? What's the load? Oh, where's my peak times? Those types of things. A month. Okay. You can also, I believe, drill down and see specifics. Okay. For different processes and so forth, depending on what you choose. Export these. So for monitoring, if you need to, you can go to that extent and configure ganglia, and of course the ganglia configuration is here as well. What to set and to enable and so forth. All right. Okay, so we talked a little bit about these. I don't think we went into storage at all, but you can see your storage if you want to expand partitions. I won't have any to expand here, but you may, especially for Zenworx Service Desk, because you may have additional partitions for content or imaging or those types of things. Let's see, same thing, administrative password. Here's a network, and it pretty much tells you what your network configuration is and how to work with it. Okay, here's my name servers and so forth, what's going on my network. Okay. Now again, we've done terminal and file controller already. We've done logs, all right, and this does the same thing. You can go directly to the service desk logs. Okay, you can open them up and see what's going on and search on things. All right, so that's real handy. And again, those logs have not just service desk, but the OS and the appliance logs as well. Just a quick pass directly to those locations. You can also go to service desk configuration here. Similar to the other one, you can see what's going on your file system. You can see what version you're at, how much RAM. Database configuration, this one's embedded database. Otherwise, if external was obviously selected, it would be an external database. It would tell you that. Again, restart services. You can always see what your version is up here. All right. Then you could go to your classics, your technician page if you needed to. Right, and log in. Or you can go to your customer. Oh, not a customer. John, I think. There we go. Or your customer. Okay. So that gives you a quick access to those. And again, this is a different website as opposed to these. Okay, these are different. So when we restart services, it's going to restart for the customer and the technician. Not so much this unless you do a reboot. Okay. All right. So that's Zenworx Service Desk. Let's see. Yeah, version. You can see the version. Log out, reboot, shutdown, restart services. We went through those. Let's go over to Filer. In Filer 2, we'll do ZRS first. So ZRS, you have a Zen admin. Yep, it's going to happen on each one because they're stagnant too long. I'll do the same here. Yep. I'll get it prepped so we don't have to wait quite as long. All right, so let's log into ZRS as root or Zen admin. Okay, network time storage, as we talked about, field patch, which really isn't used. Online update, again, ganglia monitoring. The one thing I didn't show you on ganglia monitoring is back. Let's see if I can pull it up. Search views. There's a way to look at the other sources too. Not just this source, but if you have others, you can have one ganglia service running up to 6 hosts. And I'm trying to remember where I saw that. Live dashboard. Please choose. No, default. No graphs. Okay, I haven't set that up. Oh, here we go, by hosts. So these are different hosts. But you can set it up so you have one ganglia server monitoring the others. And I haven't had much experience with ganglia, but I know that there are some big customers that are using that and find it effective. Okay, so we're in ZRS right now. Again, Zenworx reporting configuration, you have your basic configuration or your summary of your configuration, what you're running on, the OS, those types of things. You can also go to the basic and the advanced, as we discussed on the others. This one has always taken a little bit for my system, so we will give it just there it is. Okay, so you can see the version here expires for the certificate. I don't have any user sources configured. This was just for an example, but you can see the different domains that I have configured for ZRS. And that's your connection to either Zenworx or Zenworx Configuration Management or Zenworx Service Desk, and you start pulling off reports by gleaning from those data repositories. Okay. Yeah, Kurt, I think ganglia is going to be deprecated. I don't know what the latest one is that they're going to be having in that. So that's a really good question. I'll try and have that by next time to understand what they're replacing ganglia for, because it's in all of their appliances. So I hope they have plans for something. Service Desk isn't getting rid of it for another year plus, but I know that it's going to be deprecated. So good point. Thanks for pointing that out. It's going to be going away and replaced with something else. Again, you have the Zenworx reporting configuration, your heaps and stuff for a Zenworx reporting appliance, and then obviously your different logs going directly to different files for the different parts of the product. Okay. Terminal and File Explorer, obviously, if SSH is not running, because we got this error, right? So it's just a little reminder, oh, by the way, you got to turn SSH on so that you can start start that up so that you can do if you needed your terminal. Okay. All right. Let's see. And I don't know the time. Kurt, thanks for that question, by the way. And I don't know the time frame of that deprecation. But good call out. And then Zenworx reporting backup. Okay, I haven't backed this up. You can start a backup. It'll take several minutes, but it will then finish up, and I can close this in the meantime. But it's doing its thing, and it'll report back. Okay, and finally, let's go to Filer. Let's see, are we on Filer? Filer. So let's log in. Again, you can see Ganglia configuration, network time. This one has digital certificates. Again, Filer is pretty much a standalone. Well, it can have multiples, I guess, but yeah. Storage, but the certificates on this box, right? You could see them here. Storage, system services, again, if you needed SSH on, this has a few others that it uses. Okay. And then firewall, administrative passwords, field patch, and support. I have seen this support before, but I'm not certain on the use of it. And the configuration. Oh, this is if you're sending it to FTP, if you need to FTP something. That's handy, right? And then online updates, again, with the exclamation point, you would see, oh, we do have different things, and at the bottom we'll probably find a filer. Yep, some filer updates, right? So let me get this a little bit bigger for you. Oops, sorry. So you can see those. Okay, and you can update now. Let's go back real quick to our Zenworx configuration management. DA zone. We should have updated this, and it should show nothing now. Needed patches, none. But we haven't rebooted, right? If we close, you could see a reboot needed in the upper right-hand corner here. So pay attention to some of these in the upper right. Sometimes it's in red, sometimes it's just listed here. But if we do a reboot needed, we can then go ahead and reboot. And it shows you online patch has been installed, requires a system reboot. Please reboot. You hit OK. And then when we come back to this in a minute or two, we'll be able to see that that exclamation point, like we see on Filer, is gone. Okay. This also has a product upgrade. I don't have any upgrade available. Sometimes they'll put this in the script. Just be aware, if you do an online update, for instance, Zenworx Service Desk 831, it'll probably have a patch in the list of online updates for 831. And then after that's run and all the security patches and everything's been updated and you reboot, then you'll have this product upgrade, and there'll be something there to select to do the finish of the upgrade. And then remember, depending on what the upgrade is, you may have to re-register to the online update. Typically on the in-place upgrades, you won't have any need for re-registering. So Filer's here with all the same stuff. This one's fairly new and this one's fairly new compared to the other products. But you do have the Filer configurations, and of course you have, if we go here, you have all of these here. Network and configuration and just different things about the product that you can configure from here. Okay. Clustering, I don't have clustering on. Database, it's going to be a local Postgres. Net folders, what are the sync times, and so forth. Okay, again, reconfigure Filer server, revert changes. Okay, so you're able to do that. Let's say you haven't saved and rebooted, you can revert your changes in the Filer. And you can start using Filer right away by selecting, this will take you to your Filer console. And then configuration for Postgres. Okay. Now I threw in, I know we're getting close to time, but I threw in a couple of commands here. We did a little bit about Ganglia, but there's some commands. The appliance is called a Common Appliance Framework, a CAF, okay? And you can actually see what your, let me do this. So I have the commands. You can actually see what your CAF is by, for instance, logging into the console or going into terminal. All right, cat etc star dash release. We'll look at anything that has a file with dash release in it. Okay, so you can see it's a Zenworx Appliance 2020 Update 2. You could see that the ID is Zen Appliance. You could see it's a SLES 12 SP5, right? Okay, now for the CAF build, you can do cat etc novel -va -base. And you can see this is CAF version 2.1.2. Let's go over to that's Zenworx Configuration Management. Let me go over to my service desk. And if we do cat etc novel va, and you can hit tab if it works. Oh, it's, yeah, okay. So this is 2.1.1.2, all right? And part of that is because cat etc star dash release. This is 12 SP5 again, all right? And shows you the service desk appliance. What was it was at 12 over here too? Oh, it was 12 SP5. Okay. My filer appliance. Is it on here? 7.9. No, it's not. Okay. It's on my ESXi. So if we went over to, so you can see the difference. The CAF version 2.1.2 versus 2.1.1.2 up here. Okay. But that's how you can see what build you're on. Again, everything's vulnerabilities, right? What CVEs are needed and what security patches are needed and so forth. So it looks at the OS, it looks at the CAF, different things that are needed there. All right, again, the online update channel makes it real flexible to do security patches, and product updates. And here's a couple of command lines. Of course, WinSCP, you want SSH on. Ping, you have your basic tools or commands for Linux. Okay, so if you're Linux savvy or you want to get Linux savvy, actually this is a good way to start because it gets your toes in, but you still have that graphical user interface if you need to. But you could turn RCSSHD to turn SSH off and on, stop. You can do status. Okay, we can see it's off if we turned it on. And then we did status. You can see it's active. Okay, so that's the difference there. Again, you have your Linux commands, the regular LLs. You have your and CD, and it's the basic stuffs you could still do in Linux, and it's a good way to get your feet wet. The RPM. So if I wanted to do, for instance, check what version of Zenworx is on this. Actually, let's go over here and we'll do RPM minus query and grep Zenworx. And it'll give me all the files for Zenworx. And then if you want to see what's in Zen Core, you can do grep SV Zen Core. I believe you can do that. I am not a Linux connoisseur, but this is, it combined them both. This really help, and I always have to go to my cheat sheet. I have a grep -v 2022. I should probably state the script, huh? Sort. Okay, so now it's sorted. You can do pause or less. I'm sorry, not pause. Less. Yeah, so there's the first 1 through 36, and then you just hit your space bar and you can go see the rest of them. So sometimes it'll scroll past. The other thing is your permissions, right? Your Chmod. Go over here for Chmod. So your permissions, here's your permissions, right? You have user right, group rights, and others rights. So you can see that the third line down over, you could see under, let's do CLS or clear. And we'll do, you can see the third one down shows directory, and then the user rights is in the next three, read, write, and execute. And then it would be group, read, write, execute, and then other rights, read, write, execute. So that's where they get the 7, your number, your numeric value, because these are bits. Okay. And again, I'm not a Linux connoisseur, but these are some of the things that you'll pick up and are common in the Linux world. But you could also see that the SUSE Studio on the right here has first boot service. So you know that that's executable, right? Okay. So anyway, those are some of the command lines to make sure that you can get around if you need to go to the command line or the terminal. But for the most part, that's those are the appliances. I didn't have an iPrint to show you. I'm sure it's very, very similar. But yeah, it has the basic stuff so that you can get around and do what you need to do. Oh, let's go back over to our Zenworx. We rebooted the appliance. Let's log back in. Oh, you can see here, online update is root. And we can see the and you can see the online update now doesn't have anything in it for needed patches. And you can see the installed patches here. If we go to the bottom, see we did that patch. All right. We are close to end of time. And I appreciate everybody joining us today. You can get to the presentation off today's link if you wish. It'll be in the descriptions. And be sure to check out some of the Zenworx documents. They have links in them as well. If you have any questions, please visit the ZCM community or email us at zen@microfocus.com. We would be happy to answer any questions or things you'd like to know or want on this ZENcast. So please send them to us if you have any comments or wishes. Next ZENcast is ZCM Docker. What is it and its function? We'll have a developer on. This will be on the 16th of August, and we look forward to understanding a little bit more about ZCM Docker. And any other comments, any other mentions in chat? I appreciate everybody being here. I think we're pretty much done. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Stay safe till next time, and I appreciate everybody being here. You guys have a great 2 weeks, and stay safe. And it's warm out there, so stay hydrated. Take care. Thank you.